wasn't expecting it.
Hello, mighty companions.
Hello.
Hello, mighty companions. I want to welcome you to A Course in Miracles on Facebook Live. I'm Earl Purdy, and I would invite you to have a willingness to actually hear some sanity for an hour. Is that all right? Could we hear something different, helpful, new? Yeah, that would, or even if it's not new, repeating it over and over again until we accept it as true. So I'd like to ask you to take a breath right now and close your eyes. And I'd like you to remind yourself that forgiveness is the key to happiness. And also, would you be willing to remind yourself that forgiveness doesn't mean trying to overlook what someone has done to you. Forgiveness is not trying to overlook what someone has done to you. Forgiveness is not trying to overlook what someone has done to you. That I said forgiveness is not about trying to overlook what you think someone has done to you. One of the most important statements in A Course in Miracles is the word repeat. Don't forget, remember, repeat, don't forget, remember, repeat, don't forget, remember. So do you know that forgiveness is not something that you just naturally do? And actually, your mind cannot sin. Your mind cannot attack. Your mind cannot hurt anyone. Your mind cannot directly hurt anyone. Your mind cannot directly hurt anyone. Your mind cannot directly hurt anyone. Your mind cannot sin. Do you know that the belief in sin and guilt, do you know that the belief in sin and guilt and separation is an idea that you taught yourself? The idea of sin, the idea of guilt, the idea of being separate, these are ideas that you taught yourself according to the Course in Miracles. So that means forgiveness has to be learned by you. Forgiveness is something you have to learn. Forgiveness is something you have to learn. Forgiveness is something that you have to learn. Forgiveness is what? Something you have to learn. But even though forgiveness is something that you have to learn, that's not the same as saying forgiveness is something you teach yourself. Saying that forgiveness, which is correct perception, is something that you have to learn is not the same as saying that it's something that you have to teach yourself. Actually, you learn how to do forgiveness from a teacher other than yourself. You have an inner teacher that represents another self in you. You have an inner teacher that represents another self in you. You have an inner teacher that represents another self in you. You have an inner teacher that represents the other self in you. So you are not the one to teach yourself forgiveness. You're not the one to teach yourself how to forgive. You're not the one to teach yourself how to forgive. You're not the one to teach yourself how to forgive. You learn how to forgive from another part of you. Another part of you is going to teach you how to forgive. What is it you're going to learn through your other self? What is it that we're going to learn? How are we going to learn forgiveness, the correct perception through our other self? What is it that our other self Our divine self is going to teach us. The Course in Miracles says it's going to teach you how to forgive the self you made so that the self you made can disappear. The self you made of fear can disappear. The self you made of fear can disappear. You're going to learn how to forgive, release the ego so that your pain and suffering can disappear. Take a breath. It's okay for us to be still and to have some silence. I know we're Americans, but we can do it. So you are here to do what? What is it that you're here to do? You're here to return your mind to who is your true self. And your true self can never sin. Your true self can never sin. Your true self can never have guilt. Your true self has no guilt. Your true self has no fear. Your true self has no fear. Your true self has no sadness. Your true self has no sickness. Your true self has no anger. Your true self has no depression. Your true self, you want to return your mind to your true self, your real self. So do you need to believe these ideas? Do you need to welcome these ideas? Is it true some of the ideas you're going to find hard to believe? Some of the ideas will startle you? Yes. Okay. So we're going to be, and we're going to finish up lesson 121, Forgiveness is the Key to Happiness, in the workbook on page 215. Do you know that another term for the ego is unforgiving mind? Another term for the ego is unforgiving mind. And so, are there unforgiving minds in this world? Are there any unforgiving minds? Are there any unforgiving minds in this room?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, okay. All right. Well, do you know that every unforgiving mind, the Course says, presents you with an opportunity? So everybody that acts crappy is giving you an opportunity. Everybody that's angry, rude, upset, unfaithful, dishonest, who feel separate, who project, who blame, who don't take any responsibility for their experience, those who attack are really giving you an opportunity. Wow, that's deep. An opportunity to do what? To teach your own unforgiving mind how to forgive itself. So everybody that upsets me is giving me an opportunity to forgive myself, to release myself. What is important about that? The Course says, well, grievances block your miracles. And it teaches that miracles are a state of abundance, a state of love. Out of the book, it says a miracle is a state of completion and abundance. That's what he says, right? Mm-hmm. So how motivated would you be to learn how to forgive if you really understood that that grievance that you're holding is actually blocking your abundance, your happiness, your peace, your joy, and your fun? it seems to me that if you told a person that, they would want to get rid of their grievances. They would want to forgive because they don't want to struggle in lack and sickness and anger and upset, right? If you really hear that, if I really heard what I just heard, then I would want to get rid of any unforgiveness that I have. Because I want the fun, I want the joy, I want the love, I want the joining, I want the prosperity, I want the peace, I want the abundance in my life. Okay? So we are blessed because we have so many opportunities to forgive. All day, every day, we get lots of opportunities to look at things another way. I mean, lots and lots and lots. If you really want to learn how to not be bothered by insanity as part of your spiritual path, you have hit the jackpot. You should feel so grateful and so thankful right now if you know you have any kind of grievances and you want to learn how to let go of any blocks to your happiness. And all you need is a lot of people around you who don't always know how to be loving and kind and forgiving. If that's going to give me an opportunity to let go of the blocks to my abundance, prosperity, and joy and happiness, then this is an incredibly fortunate place for us to be. If you know you don't forgive that easily, and you know you're here to learn how to forgive, then what you need and what I need are opportunities to learn how to forgive. If I want to let my prosperity, abundance, and oneness, and joy, and happiness happen. So don't you think that if you were really looking at it that way, then you would be in a much better mood about being here? Mm-hmm. Right. How could I not be in a better mood if I think all day long I'm being presented with an opportunity to make myself wealthy in love and peace and joy and fun, right? And I'm also getting an opportunity to let go of the grievances that I have toward myself, because I also have grievances toward myself, just like I have toward anybody else, because I feel like I have not lived up to the expectations in every way that I have for myself. Right? The Course in Miracles says anger, it comes from someone not fulfilling the role that you've assigned to them. That's what anger is. Well, then what would being angry at yourself be? It would be you being upset because you haven't achieved what you think you should achieve the way that you think you should achieve it. So your unforgiving mind is also presenting you with an opportunity for you to forgive yourself. And everybody else's unforgiving mind is giving you an opportunity to forgive yourself. So we have what? Lots of opportunities to learn how to let go of every block to our happiness. Already you probably had some this morning. You've probably been thinking about some things today that you wish were different, or someone you wish were different in some way. Because the Course teaches, which is really a trip, that a grievance is whenever you say, if this were different, I would be saved. The Course says a grievance is every time you say, if this were different, I would be happy. So every time you go, if that person were different, I'd be happy. If the weather was different, I'd be happy. That's a grievance against the weather not acting out my role, right? If my car was different, I'd be happy. Then that's not accepting the car that I have and thinking that it's not okay, I need to have another one. So grievances are always, if someone spoke or acted differently, if you were in another situation or circumstance, then you'd be saved, then you'd be happy. So don't you think that based on that definition of grievances, can't you see how we're creating grievances pretty much all day, right? Because if I'm unhappy, it means that I think whatever is going down needs to be different. So a sad person, an unhappy person, a depressed person is a person that's full of grievances and unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is everything has to be different in order for me to be happy. That's what a grievance is. Every time I say something or someone has to be different in order for me to be happy, I'm making up a grievance on you. And a grievance is what blocks miracles. That's why people don't see miracles in their life, is because they're not accepting anything and they're demanding that everything be different in order for them to be happy. If I lose 10 pounds, I'll be happier. If I gain 10 pounds, I'll be happier. Every time you say, if this were different, I would be happy, that's a grievance, according to the Course. So every unforgiving mind is giving me an opportunity to teach my own mind how to forgive itself. And then it says, each one awaits release from hell through you. And the Course defines hell as fear. Okay, so everybody around you is going to wait for release from hell through you. And he says everybody around you is actually turning to you imploringly for heaven, which is reality, right here and right now. So people who have unforgiving minds, the Course in Miracles says they have no hope, but that you become their hope. So when you become their hope, whose hope do you become? You become your hope. So everybody's giving me an opportunity to practice the Course in Miracles on them. I don't have to say anything to them to practice the Course in Miracles on them, because the Course in Miracles is just teaching me another way to look at everything. So for me to look at everything another way is an internal thing. So it really doesn't involve me having to necessarily say anything to anybody in order to forgive. Because forgiving is looking at it a new way that gives you peace, that you don't attack yourself. I'll say that one more time because I need to hear that. You make forgiveness hard when you think it's something that's going to happen because of something you say to somebody that's going to necessarily make them be different. You already know that doesn't work. Everybody in this room knows that changing other people does not work. So let's get that straight, right? But what I need to look at it as, that person's acting crazy right now. They're giving me an opportunity for me to see them differently, see myself differently, and release myself from a grievance right now. So I've already been told that I need to see their unforgiving mind as a call for God, a call for love, a call for healing, a call for God, a call for love, a call for healing. So no matter what that person is saying or doing, no matter what the form is of their action, whether they're giving you a finger or cussing you out, if I'm going to forgive and see it correctly, I'm going to see it as, number one, an opportunity for me to learn how to see my own self differently. And I'm also going to see it as a call for love, a call for help, and a call for healing to God. To God. I'm going to see it that way. Not necessarily say anything to them. I'm going to see it that way. And then I'm going to ask Spirit, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? Who do you want me to say it to? Where do you want me to go? I know this person that has a grievance against me wants me to go to hell. But where do you want me to go, God? I kind of know where they want me to go. And I kind of know where part of me want them to go. So that part, that's why we inhale, all of us trying to get out, because the hell we want for anybody else is the hell we're asking for ourselves. So we're actually tied to the people we have grievances with and that we hate. We are tied to them because they're on the same frequency of unforgiveness that we're on. So therefore we end up having these endless opportunities to see each other differently, to get out. So we all each other's way out of hell. Wow. Wow. So the Course in Miracles says, read me slowly, read me slowly. So then what's the next sentence? It says, the unforgiving mind must learn through your forgiveness that it has been saved from hell. And as you teach forgiveness, which is salvation, you will learn it. So as you teach the correct perception, and do you know that the Course in Miracles defines to teach means to demonstrate. if you want to be a great student of the Course in Miracles, it's important that you begin to realize that it has its own interpretations of the terms. So teaching isn't just what you say. Actually, a true teacher is a demonstrator. That's who you really learn from. I remember when I was first trying to learn computers, it was much easier for me to learn computers when the person that was teaching me would work the computer in front of me and was demonstrating it than trying to tell me what to do on the computer. If any of you have ever worked with computers, you know nothing's more difficult than someone trying to tell you what to do. It's much easier if someone shows you what to do, right? So I can tell you to forgive, but if you're upset with me and I see it as your call for love and I don't attack you, and I look at it as you're giving me an opportunity to free myself, so I'm not going to attack you. I'm going to ask for another way to look at you. If I want to see you as innocent, so I don't attack you, now I'm demonstrating forgiveness. I'm not talking it, I'm demonstrating it. Wow. And even if at an emotional level you still feel the grievance, but you don't attack outwardly, then you're still demonstrating forgiveness. Yeah. Because you're doing what a forgiving person would do, which would be not attack someone. Everybody, I'm going to keep checking in with you. Are you with me? Is it still making sense to you? Okay. Then it goes on to say, yet, before I go to the next paragraph, are there any questions about what was just said in the last paragraph?
Which paragraph are we on?
We on paragraph 7. And then we get ready to go into 8. You have to want to forgive, and what could be a better motivation for forgiveness than for you to recognize the benefit to you? It's only one problem with that I've learned over the years. If a person really believes that they are guilty and therefore they don't really value and love themselves and they don't think they're worthy of happiness, people who have that mindset have a tendency to never do anything that makes it better for themselves. So the mere fact that I'm telling them how to get out of lack and sickness and poverty and pain and attack means that they are probably not going to do one single thing that they just heard to get out of their problem, because they believe that suffering and sacrifice is the way that you heal, because that's what we were taught. We were taught that it's through sacrifice and suffering that you get to a better state. So when you say to people, this is how you can get out of your loneliness, but they don't believe they're worthy enough to have a relationship, wouldn't it make sense that they wouldn't pay any attention to what you just told them? And is it also possible that if they've already made up their own way out, that they don't really pay any attention to what they're being told because it's not the answer that they themselves have come up with or the solution that they've already come up with? Because most people don't ask an honest question. The Course says an honest question is a question where you're asking the question and you don't already have an idea in your mind about what the answer should be. And it says very few, especially adults. Most of the time when adults ask you a question, they already have an answer in their mind that they think you're supposed to say. And that's why when you give them the answer, they go, yes, but. See, the yes, but is always the way you know that you didn't hear an honest question. The person wanted you to confirm what they've already decided. It's the answer. And then the Course says, well, let's make that real simple. What is the answer that they've decided other than the answer of the truth? This is, well, their answer is, if this were different, I'd be happy. Everybody's answer is that, no matter what form it takes. If it's an answer other than the truth, the Course is saying they're looking for you to tell them what needs to change except them in order for them to be happy. Tell me how you can get my mama to change. Tell me how you can get my daddy to change, my boss to change. women to change, men to change, people of other political parties to change, the Israelis to change, the Palestinians to change. See, the wrong answer is going to always be, they need to change. And so if I'm not telling you who's going to make a sacrifice for you and who's not going to bring you the happiness that you want, if I can't tell you where that boyfriend, girlfriend located, I don't hear you, because I'm looking for you to tell me how I can manipulate something out there or somebody out there that's going to give me the happiness that I'm looking for. So the Course is telling us that that is a grievance. So I'm trying to get you to make my grievance real. Everybody clear? Yeah. Okay, is this making sense? Okay, how do you know when you are doing the wrong plan? By the way you feel. You know in what area of your life right now you got the wrong plan. You tell me what area in your life that you have the most dissatisfaction in, and I'll tell you the area of your life where you're not forgiving. It's important to have fun. It's important to have fun. It's important to have fun. It's important to be happy. It's important to be happy. God is happiness. Love is happiness. There's a lesson in the Course in Miracles that says God being love is also happiness. So God is happiness. Love is happiness. Love is happiness. The Course says the only purpose of a relationship is to make you happy. If it doesn't make you happy, it's not valuable and it's not real. So don't just go, I'm in a relationship so I can learn, if it's no fun. See, I'll say that again. Don't let your ego get you stuck with that thing of, I'm miserable, but I'm here to learn. It's easier to learn with someone you like and someone you enjoy. So love is happiness is God. Okay, so then it goes on to say, yet all your teaching and all your learning will be not of you, but of a teacher who was given to show the way to you. So what is it you're going to do today? Today, we practice. What is it that we're going to practice? Learning to forgive, which means learning to release, which means learning to truly perceive, which means learning to bless. Now, you can practice the ideas in A Course in Miracles workbook lessons totally insincerely. Okay? So I'm not saying you're going to necessarily feel all forgiving toward the person that you're going to forgive. What you want to learn how to do is do what you're told. That's what the Course says. He says, I'm trying to teach you to do what you're told. You're acting like your belief and your agreement is important before you do it. I'm just trying to get you in the habit of doing what you're told, even if you don't do it very well. That's what the Spirit is saying. You just need to do what you're told. Okay, so I know today is going to be a challenge for people online and maybe people in the room. Do you know why? Because we're going to do it. We're going to do what he says do to forgive someone. Why would that be difficult? Because I don't want to. I hate them. Okay, I think they did me wrong. So that means what? It means I still don't get it that it's me I'm letting off the hook. I still don't get it that it's me that I'm keeping from getting sick. It's me that I'm keeping from being broke. It's me that I'm keeping from being on a job I hate. It's me that's keeping, this is giving me an opportunity to bless and free me. It doesn't have anything to do with the other person, really. So you're not doing it for them. I'm not trying to look at my daddy differently for my daddy. I'm trying to free myself from the punishment and problems and lack and fear and unhappiness that my grievance brings to me. I want to be selfish enough to forgive. I want to be selfish enough to forgive. I want to be so selfish, I'm not going to let you and how you feel about me, and even me and how I feel about you, stop me from doing this, because I want to be free. I want to be safe. I want to vibrate at a level of love, because when you vibrate at a level of true love, you're not going to attract what you would perceive as negative events, people, or things even to you. It protects you more than a police force or an army ever could. Your vibration, your consciousness will be at such a high level that you will be above the battleground of the fear and the anger and the upset and the lack and the attack that you see in the world.
Let's go.
So, forgive yourself a prom night. Are you still with me? Any questions? Okay. I don't mind. I'm familiar enough with this book to tell you what it says. So today we practice learning to forgive. If you are willing, you can learn when? Today. All right? To do what? To take the key to happiness and do what with the key of happiness? Use it on whose behalf? Yours, mine, right? Okay, so are you willing?
Yes.
Yes.
Reluctantly willing.
I'll say it again. You are not doing this for the person that you feel like you have the grievance against. Okay? You're not doing this and letting someone off the hook for what you think they've done to you. This is not what you're being asked to do, Earl, and it's not what you're being asked to do, everyone watching and this group. Okay? All right, we already know we're unforgiving because we're here. Okay? So I know you all are unforgiving. And I am too. Right? I know it's true of every single solitary person that I see walking the streets, on TV, we're all the same. The Course in Miracles says we're all on the same level of consciousness, the learning level. And this is what he calls it. He said, all of us are here to learn. So we're all on the same level of consciousness. It's our ego and our specialness that wants to say, well, I am more loving than you, though. The truth is, if I see you, I'm just like you. My ego is just like your ego. My ego is exactly like your ego. The only difference between my ego and your ego, maybe, is I'll go to what the Course in Miracles teaches and try to apply it maybe quicker than you. That's the difference. I run to the medicine cabinet and get the aspirin, and you might take a week or two to get to the cabinet.
It's temporary.
Yeah. You might be sashaying where I'm going, because he says the more you spiritually wake up, the less you can tolerate pain.
That's right.
I'll say it again. The more you spiritually awaken, the less you handle discomfort well. People think it's the opposite. I'm becoming more spiritual so I can suffer better. Right? All right? I can be unhappy longer because I'm spiritual now. It's just the opposite. If you're waking up spiritually, you can't put up with the BS you used to put up with in yourself or anybody else. You won't even feel like wasting your time trying to change someone who doesn't want to change. You don't even have time. And then when you get older in the body, it becomes even more crazy to you. I don't have 5 years to spend on a relationship trying to get the person to treat me right and me to treat them right. I'll be 78 years old. I don't have time for that. Now, if I'm in my 20s, 30s, 40s, I can mess off 10 years. with that same person. Y'all know who I'm talking about, right? Y'all be that same person, and you be years and years, and y'all break up, and you get back together, and you're trying to work it out, and they trying to change you, and you trying to change them. But at my age, no, I want peace. Do you want peace? Yes. Let's be two mature beings who go for the peace and is willing to do what's necessary to have the peace. That's what we're going to do. It's not going to be projection. It's not going to be blame. It's going to be, let's use our relationship to let go of our grievances and blocks and fears together. Now, I'll hang with you if you want to do that. If you don't want to do that with me, I'm not going to stay in a relationship with you. If you don't want peace and you're not willing to take responsibility and I'm not willing to take responsibility and we're using our grievance, so you telling me if I was different, you'd be happy, and I'm telling you if you were different, I'd be happy, and we just keep going back and forth with that, then I have no patience or time for that anymore in my life. Because I'm cute.
Yes, you are.
And so are you. So why am I saying that? There's always someone who will appreciate you and like you and want to be with you no matter how you look. Because y'all might think you're too spiritual to admit it, but you've seen some people that look so deep, you go, how in the hell did that person pull that boyfriend or girlfriend? You go, if it's just based on looks, she shouldn't have a boyfriend. And he shouldn't have a girlfriend if it's just based on looks. And you'll see them. They'll be laughing, talking, holding hands, and everything. They're the living proof that when you love somebody, they look good to you no matter how their body looks. Love makes people cute to you. I had a girl I was dating, just got out of high school, and I was really into her, and I had a picture of her up on the dresser, and my sister came in the room, and she took the picture, and she put it face down, and she went, she ugly. Why you got a picture up on top of your dresser? I was like, what? She was beautiful to me because of how I felt about her. If somebody only likes you because of the way you look, you need to get as far away from that person as you can because your body is going to change. And if their attraction to you is purely physical, your days are numbered. You better enjoy it and hit it while you can. I'm telling you. I'm looking for people who looking for my inner character now. I'll tell you, all these young guys nowadays, it look like they go to the gym 90 times a week. They all look like Hercules or something. That wasn't the way it used to be back in the day. You could have a normal looking body. Now you got to look like the Hulk. Am I wrong? No. No, it's much more now focused on how you physically look. So to forgive someone would be, you don't have to look different in order for me to be happy. I'm not going to have a grievance against the way you look. It'll really weed out quickly whether you love the person or not. Wow. The Course in Miracles says, do me slowly. And that's why I do it that way. Right? Then it says, we will devote, oh my God, too much. 10 minutes. I know. Jesus of the Course requires too much. 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night to learning what? How to give forgiveness and to receive forgiveness. You could say how to give blessing and receive blessing, or how to give a correct perception and receive a correct perception. Okay. How can you tell when you're dealing with an unforgiving person? He says, well, an unforgiving mind doesn't even believe that giving and receiving are the same. Because if you knew you were going to receive everything that you were giving, you think a lot more carefully about what you give. So an unconscious person thinks that they can do something to you and it's not going to happen to them. A conscious being knows whatever you do is what you're asking for and what's going to come to you. An unconscious person thinks they can direct all their anger outside themselves and that gets rid of it. And they don't know that the law of the universe is giving is how you receive. So whatever you give, I don't care what it is, from anger to bliss, you're going to receive it. Because first of all, it's coming through you, so it's going to have an effect on you. If I'm mad at you, I feel the anger before. You may not feel it at all, because you don't have to feel it unless you give meaning to what I've said. I'll say it again. You don't have to respond anyway to what I call you unless you give what I call you meaning. So if I don't physically hit you, you never have to feel unhappy about anything. All of you are upset about what's happening in the wars of the world right now. It's that upset is coming from the meaning that you're giving it, not the war itself. You would think you can't help but feel the way you feel. But we know that's not true, because there are some people on one side of the war that feels like when the other person dies on the other side, they're happy about it. And then the people on that side, there are some of the people on that side, they're happy when they hear about the people on this side getting killed. So we don't have to inherently get upset about nothing that's happening to anybody. Or they couldn't be happy about another person dying. They're happy about another person dying because the meaning they give that other person is, this is my enemy. And then that person is looking at the other group and going, it's okay if we kill them because they're the enemy. So they don't feel sad. The Ku Klux Klan was joyful when Martin Luther King got assassinated. They did not mourn it. So if you just had to get upset when somebody died, then they would have had to have gotten upset when he died, even though they were the Ku Klux Klan. What is my point? There is nothing any of us are feeling that's coming from anything outside. Nothing. Nothing. There's nothing in the world, from climate change to the political situation to what happened to you as a child, that is determining how you feel right now. It is all coming from the way you're seeing it. That's the key to happiness. I just gave you the key to happiness right then. So a conscious being is learning how to give the meaning to events that spirit is teaching you to give the meaning. See, and that's all the Course is doing. It's saying, you see this, you see attack, see it as a call for love. You see somebody that's unforgiving, see it as an opportunity. Notice it's telling us how to see the things that's happening, but it also says it's only through repetition that you will get to the point that you accept it as true. It's going to come through repetition, not analyzation. That's why I don't analyze in my Course in Miracles classes. I do not sit around and we all sit up here with this book and analyze what the Course means. That is, I'll never do that, because that destroys the meaning of the Course in Miracles, and the ego loves Course in Miracles classes like that, because people walk away more confused than when they came in the door. They're totally confused. I've heard so many people say that who go to those type of groups, because usually it's people who've never read the Course trying to tell each other what it means. That's what's so funny. If a group of people who never read the book read the book, and then they try to give their interpretations of it instead of listening to what it says, then they're not going to learn the correct way to look at the Course unless we do what it says. Like he was saying right here. We will try to learn today that giving and receiving are one through practicing forgiveness toward who? One whom you think of as an enemy, and one who you think of as a friend. Notice the Course in Miracles said, practice forgiveness toward a friend. Think about that, as well as practice forgiveness toward an enemy. See, we think of it in terms of, I want to practice forgiveness toward an enemy. I don't think about I need to practice forgiveness toward a friend. But the only reason why I see them as a friend is they're doing what I want them to do. It's not. It has nothing to do with unconditional, spiritual, higher consciousness love. I'm okay with you today because you're acting the way I want you to act today. If you don't do something I like this evening, we could not be speaking to each other. So really, my friendship isn't any realer than the enemy. The friend isn't even any real than the enemy is in reality, because it's all based on scripts in most cases. Can we see that? Yeah. We getting along right now because I like what you're doing.
You're doing okay too.
I'm doing okay today for a minute, you know. I'm not going to push it past an hour. You know, and you're on the outer periphery of my personal life, so you get a chance to really see the good, right? We're not seeing each other's ego. The ego is in each other's private life. That's our ego. In here, we're coming from a spiritual space because we're trying to wake up to who we really are. So we're really seeing our truest self right now. We save the other self for the people that are special to us. They're the ones that are lucky enough to see the other side, right? So the Course says, then I want you to learn to see your enemy and your friend both as one. Then we're going to extend the lesson to who? Yourself. And how can you tell when you have extended forgiveness to yourself? Well, he says you'll see that their escape from hell and fear also included your escape. Your escape is my escape. Have you ever watched a movie where people were in prison or locked up behind bars and one person got loose and got the key and then they started unlocking everybody? Right. That's what we're doing. He's essentially asking us to practice the truth, and then we are extending that truth to everybody. We're freeing everybody. See, I've freed all of you. You may not think you're free around me, but you're totally free around me. I just let you determine how free you want to be around me. So to look like you have all the limitations that you always had, but those are just the limitations you're putting on yourself. And I let you have those. That's part of my love for you, is to see you as free, knowing that you have a choice about how you want to see things, and you are the one that's choosing how you want to see things. And if you want to continue to see things the way you've always seen them, even if it doesn't make you happy, then part of my love for you is to let you be that way. Unless you say to me, Earl, could you give me another way of looking at this relationship that I'm in? Now, if you ask me, I'm going to let you have it. But I'm not going to give you involuntary advice. There are too many people that Spirit know would listen to you than to waste your time with Spirit directing you toward people who won't. There are too many people that would love you just the way you are than for Spirit to direct someone to you that doesn't love you, so that you can try to figure it out. That's what we do. Wow. So, here you go. Begin the longer practice periods, Cute Course in Miracles students, by thinking of someone you don't like. I know it's hard for you to think of someone you don't like. I know it's hard for you to think of people you don't like. I know it's hard for you to think of people you don't like, because you're so spiritual. So when you're spiritual, you go, I don't think there's anybody I don't like. Okay. Well, how do you recognize who you don't like? The Course answers that. Somebody who seems to irritate you. Is there anyone you know that irritates? Some people I'm irritating right now. They're watching me right now, and they're irritated. Okay? Someone who causes regret in you if you should meet them. If you see them coming down the aisle in the King's Super Grocery Store, you go down another aisle. Yeah. You got some regret if you run into them. Anybody got? Yeah. Okay? People that you don't want to run into. Okay? If you should meet them, then the Course in Miracles is not trying to tell us to be nicey. What did it just say? Somebody that you don't regularly despise, but actively despise. The course took it to another level. Somebody you friggin' despise. It's right here in the book. So the book isn't saying, everything is sweetness and light. I love everybody. I don't have any upset with it. The book is saying, I want you to think of somebody you don't like that irritates you, that causes you regret, that you freaking despise, or you merely try to overlook. Have you met those people? They're doing something and you're trying to, they're playing their music really loud, but I'm going to overlook it. They didn't let me out in traffic, but I'm going to overlook it, right? I go visit my parents. I'm going to try to overlook my daddy. I'm going to try to overlook. So it doesn't, now here, what does Jesus say next? It doesn't matter what the form of that your anger takes. You probably have chosen them already. You probably know who it is already. So please don't try to be so spiritual that you don't come up with a person. And please don't use yourself. That's another spiritual bypass cop-out. Because that's the first thing people go, but what about if it's me? If you really thought it was you, you wouldn't be mad. So I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? You don't really think it's you, because the person who really thinks it's themselves, that's the person that's healing. That's the person that's taking responsibility. Mm-hmm. Right. So the Course says, now, this is what I want you to do. I want to ask you to close your eyes. We're going to do it right quick. And I want you to see that person in your mind. And if you can't see, if you're not good at visualizing, I'll tell you what to do. Call their name to yourself. So I want you to try to perceive some light in that person, some good in that person, some love in that person, some truth in that person. You might want to remind yourself that they're not their ego, that they're not their body. You want to remind yourself, you want to look for some light in that person. You want to recognize that there is some good in that person somewhere. There is some light in that person somewhere. Call that person's name, think of that person, and then tell yourself there's some light in them somewhere. I love how he says that. There's some light in them somewhere, a little gleam that you've never noticed. Think about that person. Think about that person. And tell yourself, whether you see it or not, there's some light in that person somewhere. There's some good in that person somewhere. And you want that good to be shining through the ugly picture. The Course in Miracles says, the ugly picture you have of them. You have an ugly picture of that person. The person that you don't like, you got an ugly picture. You might want to say to that person in your mind, I got an ugly picture of you. And I want to see something else other than this ugly picture that I see in you. I want to believe that there's something other than this ugly picture that I see in you. I want to believe that there's something other than this despise that I feel for you, this irritation that I feel for you, this regret that I feel whenever I'm in your presence or whenever I think about you. I want to see some light. I want to see some light in you somewhere. Somewhere. Even if it's under this bottom of your foot, I want to see some light in you somewhere. So look at that person right now. Look at that person. Look at that picture. Look at that picture. Look at that picture. Look at that picture. And then try to let this light, try to let this idea of goodness, try to let this idea of love, try to let that idea extend until you see them inside this, like, let's just say, a pink bubble. Put a pink bubble around that person. See them as being inside a pink bubble. And that pink bubble represents love. That pink bubble represents the truth. Whether you feel it or not. Because you don't have to feel the bubble to see the bubble. To make up the bubble. And you want to allow that picture to be made beautiful and good. So tell yourself, I'm willing to see some light. I'm determined to see this person differently. 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 And I want you to look at that changed perception. Look at that changed perception for a while. And then what are you going to do next? What are you going to do next? You're going to turn your mind to the person that you think of as a friend. So think of a friend. Think of somebody right now that you see as being a friend to you, that you feel really good about, that you see the light in them, that you see the peace in them, that you see the love in them, that you feel appreciation for them, that you see them and you want them to be free and you want them to be happy. You don't feel like they've ever done anything to hurt you, and they're certainly not doing anything to hurt you right now. Turn your mind, picture that, turning your mind to the person you call a friend. And then try to transfer that light. Try to transfer that good feeling. Try to transfer that love that you learned to see around your former enemy, that bubble of love and light that you see around the one that used to be your enemy. Then put your friend in that bubble with them. Stick your friend in that bubble of love. Stick your friend in that bubble. Let that love, let that light extend from your enemy to your friend. Let the light extend from your enemy to your friend. Let the light extend from your enemy to your friend. Let the light extend from your enemy to your friend. See that person is more than a friend to you now. See that person, this person is my friend. I'm willing to see you as more than a friend. This person that's my friend, I'm willing to see you as more than a friend. This person that I see as my friend, I'm willing to see them as more than a friend. Say that to yourself. I'm willing to see you as more than a friend. This person that you see as your friend. For in that light, for in that love, that person's innocence is showing you that person is now your savior, because that person is reminding you of innocence. That your enemy is also now your savior, because they are also reminding you of innocence and focusing in on innocence. So your savior is somebody that's saved. Your savior is someone that's saving. Your savior is someone that's healed and whole. So let that person offer you the love that you see in them. So see those two people. See those two people in that bubble of love. See those two people. And see those two people putting you in the bubble of love. Seeing them extend that light and that love that you saw in them. See them as extending it to you. Imagine that your enemy is sending you love. Imagine that your friend is sending you love. Imagine that they are now looking at you the same way you're trying to look at them. Do you know that now you are one with them? Do you know that now they are one with you? Because you're all seeing each other as the same. You either love or call for love. You're the truth or the call for the truth. You are light, they are light. They are light, you are light. They are forgiven, you are forgiven. You are seeing them correctly, they are seeing you correctly. You are now one with them, and they are one with you. That means you've been forgiven by yourself. If you're willing to see them as calling for love, see them as being loved, maybe hidden behind their own egos, then you are seeing them correctly. That is forgiving them, is seeing them correctly. That means you have been forgiven by yourself, because they are yourself. They are yourself. We are each other. We are each other. We are each other. There's just one of us here. So don't forget throughout the day, don't forget throughout the day the role forgiveness plays in bringing happiness to every unforgiving mind. Don't forget throughout the day how important it is to see each other correctly as either expressing love or a call for love. That everybody's giving you an opportunity to let go of the grievances that block your miracles. So every hour, what should you tell yourself? Every hour, tell yourself, forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. I would awaken from the dream. I would awaken from the dream that I am mortal. I will awaken from the dream that I am mortal. I will awaken from the dream that I am mortal. You will awaken, you will awaken, you will awaken, you will awaken, you will awaken from the dream that you are mortal. You will awaken from the dream that you are fallible. You will awaken from the dream that you are full of sin or full of guilt. You want to awaken from the dream that tells you that you're full of sin or full of guilt. You want to wake up from the dream that tells you that you're just a body that's going to die one day. You want to wake up from the dream that you are just fallible and you make one mistake after another mistake after another mistake. What is it that you want to know? What is it that you want to know? You want to know that you are the perfect child of God. You want to know that you are the perfect child of love. You want to know that you are the perfect child of love. Take a breath. Now, I'm going to do one last thing in just a minute as a recap. And we're going to do the love offering right now. For those who would like to share, I will give you an opportunity to do that. Thank you so much for sharing with me as a full-time teacher. Those of you online, hang in there for just 5 more minutes. You can use Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, my website, earlpurdy.com. All you need is my email address, earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. Earl Purdy, P-U-R-D-Y, Earl Purdy @earlpurdy.com. I'm available for one-on-one clarity, coaching, mentoring sessions. Come to me. We can work it out, look at it, how to handle it, how to get past that block. We can do a one-on-one. I'm also available for astrology and numerology readings. So these are other ways that Spirit communicates. So I'm available. They're called clarity sessions. Go to my website and you can get more detail and you can self-book a session with me from my website. All of my classes are uploaded to YouTube also, as well as being on Facebook. I'm here only to be truly helpful. Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, I do Facebook Live, and you can attend in person for the Course in Miracles session. You can attend in person at 1555 Race Street in Denver. 1555 Race Street in Denver, Colorado, 80206. And you can watch online on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. The Earl Purdy page on Facebook. And Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook, I do what I call Hardcore Course in Miracles. Hardcore Course in Miracles. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for watching online. I am here for those who resonate with me and the way that it comes through me, it works for you, and you want to go deeper with me. I'm 100% for you and in your corner. There is nothing more important than learning how to forgive, which is to correctly perceive what's going on. It's easier than the plan that you come up with. What is your plan? If everybody else were different, I'd be happy. And trying to come up with a way to make everything and everybody different in order for you to be happy. Right? Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to take 2 minutes, and in that 2 minutes, we're going to say what we're supposed to say to each other hourly. So what I'd like for you to do, and you can do whatever you like to do, but I'd like you to let yourself hear this and let me repeat it for you and just settle into it. Let me do the work. So you know what to do, right? Search your mind for people you don't like and people you despise and you try to overlook and you have regret when you see them. Try to see some good in them. by saying, Spirit, I want to see the light in them. I'm willing to see the light in them. I'm willing to imagine that there may be some glimmering of good in them, light in them. Then you want to go, I want to let that light that I'm seeing in them, I want to extend that light to the person I see as my friend. The person that I see as my friend, I want to see them right now as being more than a friend. That person that I like, I want to see them as being more than my friend. Now I want to allow that light that's in my enemy, that's now being extended to my friend. I like to see them extending the light and joy and peace and blessing to me. We're all in the bubble of love. We're all in the bubble of light. Then you tell yourself, forgiveness is the key to happiness. 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 I would awaken from the dream that I am mortal, fallible, and full of sin. I would awaken from the dream that I am mortal, fallible, and full of sin. What are you going to do? I would awaken from the dream that I am mortal, fallible, and full of sin. I would awaken from the dream that I am mortal, fallible, and full of sin. I would awaken from the dream that I am mortal, fallible, and full of sin. And know I am the perfect child of God. And know I am the perfect child of God. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. I would awaken from the dream that I am mortal, fallible, and full of sin. And know I am the perfect child of God. And know that I am the perfect child of God. And know what? That I am the perfect child of God. Of the world I see, I'm not a victim, no. Say what? Of the world I see, I'm not a victim, I'm not a victim. Tell yourself, I'm not a victim of my fault, not a victim of my fault, not a victim of even circumstance at all. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. Mighty companions, I appreciate you all so much. At least 4 times. Let yourself watch it or hear it at least 4 times. Don't forget this exercise so that you don't block your prosperity, your abundance, and your love. And I want you to know that I want the course to be with you. Love you so much.